So in this video, what I'm going to show you is how to have a single mission that can spawn an endless amount of randomized tasks, which will have the Moose tasking system, the air-to-ground dispatcher. These will be generated in random areas with random objects, and they're provided as, in this example specifically, strike, so you can use the limited ammunition and weaponry on the Hornet, i.e. dumb bombs. I'm going to show you what I've done first, and then I'm going to show you how I did it and how the problems I overcame with using this. So I'm just going to launch the script for air to ground task, and boom, a whole load of random crap appeared. What is the random crap? Okay, so let's go close. Now, first thing you're going to say, why have I got these blue man pads sitting next to all the targets? Well, the answer to that is we're using the detection system, and the detection system in Moose requires you actually detect it. Now, you won't know it's there before it's been detected, and thus it needs something to do that. We can do that via predator drones, but in this particular scenario, talking about Iran, talking about something I'm trying to make a little bit more realistic. We're not going to have drones wandering over there when we've got caps up. We're not going to be able to know too much. So with every target I've spawned a little chap to detect it right on top of it so he knows what it is. Now, what we've got here for this particular target is a comms tower, which is a static target. Statics are really painful because they're not actually detected by AI. It just ignores them. That's why they're statics. They're designed to reduce your CPU overhead. Let's have a look at some others. I did this with a mod. I created the mod myself with this particular target. We've got some chemical tanks. Again, that's a statics, not a unit, but I've made it into a unit, and this was one of the things I needed to overcome because it's a limitation in DCS. I needed something a little bit more varied because, as you know, we've only got a couple of bunkers and some outposts. This particular one, let's have a look, see what I've got here. I've got multiples. Grab the factory. Oops, perhaps we need to rearrange some things there, but there you go. So we've got a vast array, and these are all sort of made up on the fly from a set of templates. I've also put an air defense somewhere close to them to give something for people to worry about. But the whole idea is that that's one of the normal units, by the way, that comes with the game. That's pretty much all you've got. Pretty lonely and boring. I've not put too much art and design into the templates because that art and design is something that you can spend time on later. I'll reload this and show you that it is completely random. I'll show you the limitation and randomness, and I'll show you how the tasking system can be spawned randomly as well. You can spawn random things and have them picked up by the task system, which is what I wanted. I wanted to play the same mission again and again. I want it to be different. I don't want to remember the targets because, like, if they spawn in the same place, you start saying, "All right, I know what's going on here." And here we go. There's a bunch of new stuff in different places, and you already recognize that layout. So how did I do this? And let me show you the task system that's working with this as well. I need to get into a slot, so let's pick my Hornet slot, and I'll show you how the flow of the mission works and how exciting and random. And you know, the fact is that I made this thing myself. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, and that's the only way I like to play this game. It absolutely wrecks it if I know what's going to happen. So I needed to have this randomization. So here's your task system. All of a sudden it's going, woohoo! I've got loads of stuff I've found, and I'm going to give you tasks. Go into this. I've actually got multiple missions, and inside each multiple mission I have got multiple task types split up by the task system and multiple targets, and this will last for as long as DCS can stay up and not crash the desktop at the current state, and it will take quite a few players. I think if you got 3 or 4 hours doing this, you're still going to be struggling to kill everything. So let's have a look at what this thinks. And if we go into mark task locations on the map, it'll do the whole mission, and we get these lovely little bits of data with the threat and the mission name. So I can go around here and I go, oh look, I'm taking off from the carrier. Where do we fancy going? Or maybe I want it really deep, and we'll go and have a look at this particular one here. And we know it's BAI 004. So let's have a look at assigning ourselves to BAI 004, and let's go into it. Lively Leopard is a made-up name on the spot as well. That's random. Join tasks BAI 004. Join task. I am now assigned to that, and the Moose system will track me. Tells me what's there. It's a TV tower. Reckons there's no threats. Probably saw something slightly different, but it didn't detect them, because that's why we like detection. A little bit of random, a little bit of misinformation perhaps. And this is what I achieved. So let's exit and let's talk about how we do this. And here is the spaghetti mess of a DCS mission maker's mission. First of all, I'm going to talk about templates. Templates is going to be a list of tasks, a list of units and groups that we're going to put down. That comms tower is on his own. This one has some tanks, and this is where the mod came in. I've made a mod. I've also got a VPC mod, but I don't want to use that just now because my mod's about 2 kilobytes and his is hundreds and hundreds of meg. So those templates are some of the things that can be randomly picked from. Now, where do they go? Well, as you see here, I've made some polygon zones. Now you have to design these well as a mission maker. You don't want them intercepting with buildings and towns. You don't want them hitting over railways, or you don't or the power lines or anything like that. So a lot of them I've done in sort of little sneaky kind of strips alongside roads to try and give them a little bit more you know, that I can control them, but they're never going to be in the same coordinate. The other thing is that I've got, and let's have a quick look at the code. I have got 12 zones. I can add to these as many times as I want. So you know, if I wanted to expand this is just like a raw lack of design one. So I've got 12 zones here, and I actually create with 122 lines an endless amount of content by iterating through and creating dynamic missions on the fly. And this mission here is looping through 8 times, and it goes through, it creates it gets the template, it gets a random template, it picks that from that template there, and then it spawns that in. And then what I do is I go and spawn one of those blue recce guys, and I look for his vector 2, the vector 2 of the original thing, and slightly move it a bit so it goes into a radius of 100-150 meters around it. And thus I can sort of guarantee a detection there. Can be that within 100 meters you're on the other side of a hill. I've seen it happen, but generally it'll find it. And then I lump them into 500 meters, which I know is the largest amount of my group, the distance spread. But as you saw, I put some air defense targets in there. And what I've done with those, if you have a look at the groups, okay, you see I have put 2 miles, I think around 2 miles. So it'll group these as two different missions if it sees them, and with any luck, this might actually be completely hidden from the detectee, and he might not see it as well, so it might not be reported, and that keeps the mission list a little bit lower and prevents some extra seed missions creeping into your strike. So there we've got it. Randomly created random stuff in random places from random templates, and also fitting, that's the easy bit, but fitting them to get the Moose tasking system, this was a challenge. Some things I've declared outside of the main loop because they're going to be the same. So the filters and sets, the sets are created beforehand. Then I spawn something in, and then detection just takes over. Once that recce guy is close enough, he will detect it and use the Moose tasking system. I've also got two missions, so what I've done is I split them up into mainly strikes for mission 1 and seed for mission 2. That'll grow, and we'll get something with Navy come along when we get harpoons. But I wanted something for the Harriers, so this second one will fit. And it was something I've been trying to do for ages, and it was just so bitty and annoying, and finally just nailed it by committing to having a little guy spotting. I didn't want the you're not going to see him on the map, you're not going to see a unit when you're bombing. If you just pretend he's not there, just ignore it. It'll go away when the bomb strikes. And the predator drones can be a little bit iffy. They pop in and out of detection, but detection's a little bit more. With Moose, it's been a bit averaged out. It's not just magic detection anymore like DCS. It's a little bit harsh. So having somebody actually near close to where you're spawning them really makes the detection solid, and its replayability. Something else I've done here, because we've got 12 areas which I can add to. Each time I went through an area, I removed it from the table. So this line, what I'm doing is I'm going to the template zones table, and every time I've randomly picked one with this, that magically picks one, I then remove it from the template zone so it doesn't get called again, because initially what I had was a lot of problems with RNG is not RNG, so you'd get like about 5 units sort of clustered all round each other, and what that does to the task and detection system is absolutely blow it apart, and you generate too many tasks. So very much this was a making of how I did that. I've got GCI cap and bombers coming in and civilians and all sorts of things. It's an utter clusterfuck and mess, but it really super does work. You've got anything you can take off. You can only call the tasking system in this mission. If you do that, then you won't have so many cap and GCI response and so much mess. But that's pretty much it. And I'll probably put the code somewhere around. There's quite a few people that have sort of contributed to this concept. I think the first time I ever got this, getting dynamic arrays was Delta 99 helped me with that, so I owe a lot to him. And then Funky Frankie's helped me with some random stuff as well. With these, I actually create a random name, which is I've shared as well. I just make up a mission name and pick one word from here and then a one word from there, and then you get Yellow Tiger or Orange Paladin as your mission name. That helps it give that sort of randomization film feel as well. And that's it. It actually works. It's amazing.